With an impactful discussion on fireside chat, now we are moving to 3MT thesis competition, one of another great lineup in Research Week 2023. So we start with the 3MT thesis competition. First of all, I invite Dr. Chamira Edusurya, representing organizing committee, to start with the competition and introducing our panelists and other information.
Good afternoon, everyone. So since we are behind the schedule, we will quickly go. First, I would like to welcome all of you to the final round of the 3MT competition of the University of Moratuwa. Next slide, please. So first, I will give a brief introduction of the 3MT competitions. Probably you might have heard about that. So the 3MT competition started with a crisis in Queensland. It's due to a drought, severe drought happened in 2007 and 2008. So the people were encouraged to limit their shower to 3 minutes. So, but there was an innovative team at the Faculty of Graduate Studies at the University of Queensland who came up with this nice idea, challenging students to present probably a 80,000 word thesis within 3 minutes. So the first 3-minute thesis started held in University of Queensland itself in 2008. In 2009 and 2010, basically it has been spread to Australia, other universities and New Zealand. By now, basically we have 3MT competitions over 900 institutions, over 800 countries worldwide. Even in Sri Lanka, we have several 3MT competitions. So the University of Moratuwa 3MT competition we started last year, and in that year we limited only to the graduate students at the University of Moratuwa. However, this year we expanded it to the any degree awarding institute, university in Sri Lanka. And this time we had 38 candidates from 10 degree awarding institutes. The highest number of candidates came from, obviously, as the organizers, University of Moratuwa. No, actually it came from University of Jayewardenepura. There were 13 candidates from the University of Sri Jayewardenepura and 12 candidates from the University of Moratuwa. So in one sense that is really good because we move into the national level. So we cover the areas that are inherent to the University of Moratuwa: engineering, architecture, built environment, medicine, information technology, business and science. And we held the first round on 16th November 2023. Okay. So these are the competition rules. We use the exact rules and guidelines recommended by the University of Queensland. So since we are behind the schedule, I will not go through each of one. So, but basically, in essence, competitors should use a single static slide in summary. So this is the judging criteria. So we consider two parts. One is the comprehension and content. So basically, did the presenter provide an understanding of the background and the significance to the research, follow a clear and logical sequence, and presenter spend adequate time on each element, and so on. The other part is the engagement and the communication. Did the oration make the audience want to know more? Did the presenter convey enthusiasm for their research? Did the PowerPoint slide enhance the presentation? Was it clear, legible, and concise? So basically, under two categories, we give marks. One is the comprehension and content, the other one is the engagement and the communication. Okay, sorry, yeah, these are the prizes. So we have 4 awards: winner, first runner-up, second runner-up, and the people's choice. Next slide, please. Yeah. Okay. So this is one important aspect. So we use a ballot paper to, and the audience could engage with this competition. You can mark the one best presentation, right? According to you, you can present 1 out of the 10. And so at the end, we will count the these votes and give the People's Choice Award in addition to the winner, first runner-up and the second runner-up. Okay, so this is the our distinguished panel of judges today. So there is no preference or discrimination. I went through the alphabetical order of the faculties. So from the first, the Faculty of Architecture, Dr. Sachi Gunatilaka, Faculty of Business, Dr. Tiloka De Silva, Faculty of Engineering, Professor Sanga Rodrigo, Faculty of Information Technology, Dr. Subha Fernando, and Faculty of Medicine, Dr. Nadir Firis. So this is our distinguished panel of judges. Let's move to the presentations without wasting much time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shamir Surya, for outlining all the details and giving the brief introduction of this session. So let's move on to the final round of 3MT competition. So first of all, I'll call upon Y.M. Piyumika Nisansala Yapa from University of Sri Jayawardhanapura.
Okay, good evening all of you. So, wait a minute. Before we start, I would like to ask you some questions, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you use your face mask now? And also, I would like to ask, do you have 1 meter distance to each other? And also, my last question is, do anyone have those hand sanitizers with you? Do anyone use those things now? I'm probably sure all of your answer will be no. And also, you may be answering me, why we are bothering so much? The pandemic is over now, isn't it? But who knows what comes up next? And also, who knows what are the future infections and what are the future pandemics? So that's why I'm going to highlight this concept of prevention is better than cure and the importance of personal protection equipment with these future pandemic situations. So as all of us know, we have a long history of viral pandemics like SARS, MERS, recently we had COVID-19, and also now the Nipah virus is arising. So it is urgent to invent new antimicrobial agents, and also you can understand we have to invent these antimicrobial agents, and we have to understand what are the conventional treatments and what are the failures of those conventional treatments for those microbial infections. So do you know the biggest tragedy behind this scenario is the antimicrobial resistance against these conventional antimicrobial agents. What are those conventional antimicrobial agents? Those are the antimicrobial agents that we are using in our day-to-day life. And the antimicrobial resistance is happened because so many various bacteria, fungi and virus in the world have shown so many adaptations against these conventional antimicrobial agents. So who knows, the next pandemic can be because of these microbial resistance strains. So here you can see there are so many demerits of these conventional antimicrobial agents. They are expensive, they are narrow spectrum, which means one conventional antimicrobial agent is only for one specific bacteria, fungus or virus. So here, so don't be panicked, we have a solution here. Here we have synthesized a new novel nanohybrid with metal nanoparticles and silica nanoparticles. This nanohybrid, owing to the scale in its nano dimensions, it shows a minimum antimicrobial resistance, and also it is cost effective when comparing with these conventional antimicrobial agents, and also it is a all-in-one package, which means it has the antifungal, antibacterial and antifungal activity. So we can incorporate them into personal protection equipment to get a broad spectrum coverage from microbes. So this will be a new hope to face to the future microbial infections effectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisansalayapa. Our next content is YNVP Anjali from University of Kelaniya.
that our parents encouraged us to eat variety of vegetables, fruits and antioxidant-rich green leaves. But when we did not observe the expected health benefits, we went for the antioxidant supplements. So there is no problem. I am going to the market and I will grab my antioxidant pills. But there is a problem. The global antioxidant market was valued at $4 billion in 2020. Do we achieve the expected health benefits? No, ladies and gentlemen. The reason is we absorb only 5 to 10% from the antioxidants that we so eagerly swallow. So, what is the solution? These antioxidants are mainly absorbed through tight junctions in our intestine. If we can modulate these tight junctions, we can enhance the absorption of antioxidants. Fatty acids are known to modulate these tight junctions. So, we assess the effect of 3 edible oils on the absorption of phenolic antioxidant chlorogenic acid. When we measured the absorbed chlorogenic acid concentration in blood sample, we were delighted to find out the absorbed chlorogenic acid amount is significantly higher when we fed the rat with edible oils. So, next we wanted to know whether the increased absorption of antioxidants has done its job to reduce the oxidative damage on macromolecules like proteins and lipids. When you observe this graph, this bar chart, you can notice with the increased absorption of antioxidants, with the increased antioxidant capacity, the damage for the proteins and lipids has been reduced in red and yellow lines. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we can spend our hard-earned money to safeguard our health with the antioxidant without just sending them down to the toilet. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjali. Next, I invite Nalini Kaushalya Jayakodi from Rajarati University of Sri Lanka.
Have you ever wondered what is inside our bellies? Among the familiar presence of our foods, there's another sneaky bunch of guests silently waiting, the gut worms. These tiny to large worms make a home inside our bellies. Would you believe that 1 out of 4 people in the world and 1 out of 3 people in Asia are currently infected with gutworm infections? So why aren't we aware of this? Because they usually do not create an immediately visible health problem. Instead, they result in long-standing problems like reduced physical and mental growth that often goes unnoticed and neglected, like you see in these children. My research focuses on their early, accurate diagnosis. Sri Lanka as a whole and Anuradhapura as a district, where we are currently doing our research, is identified as low-risk areas for gutworm infections, with less than 1% of the population affected. But do these values accurately reflect the reality? We were genuinely surprised to see our results showing over 20 times the expected number. Usually, gutworm infections are detected with single microscopic tests to see worm eggs, whereas we have employed a combination of multiple microscopic methods to enhance the egg detection ability. This simple step made a significant difference in our understanding about the true disease status within the community. The next step in our research is another leap towards greater accuracy, which is the use of molecular diagnostics. There are 3 to 6 times more accurate than microscopic tests. So, with this, what is alarming here is how many more people will be positive for gutworm infections. So let's unite our hands to unveil these hidden burdens, giving a helping hand for our people for healthier lives and happier tomorrows. Thank you.
Thank you, Nalini Kaushala Jayakodi. Next, I invite Udayanga Sampath from Ocean University of Sri Lanka.
Do you know the ocean is a really dark place? Yes, light doesn't travel far underwater. As a result, many marine organisms have evolved to use sounds rather than vision to sense their environment. Some of these animals, like dolphins, have evolved to use sounds way more than we expected. So, dolphins use sounds to communicate with each other, find food, and avoid predators. The Indian Ocean is a dolphin hotspot. Particularly in the central Indian Ocean, there is a place called Chagos Archipelago, which is a marine protected area. Dolphins have been seen in this area, but we don't know when dolphins come to this area and why they use this area. Well, that's where my research comes in. This study is really important as to understand whether this area is a critical habitat area for the dolphins. To explore this, I have been analyzing the dolphin calls recorded at the Egmont Atoll in the Chagos Archipelago, and I've been analyzing those calls for 3 months of the calls in the Chagos Archipelago. So, no, I'm sorry. I had to, sorry.
Thank you, Udayanga Sampath. Next, I call upon K.A. Heshani Tatsara from University of Sri Jayawardhanapura.
Good evening all. Imagine a rambutan or a mangoes fruit. What do you think as the most important part? Is it the flesh, seed or the peel? We often savor the delicious flesh. But have you ever wondered the uses of the seed? In Sri Lanka, hundreds of seed species are overlooked and wasted. To examine their uses, my study focuses on exploring the seed oils in cosmetic and dietary applications. I have 2 questions for you. Do you know that there are ecological disruptions caused by fish oil production? Are you aware of the harmful effects of petroleum-based cosmetics? Yes, these are some of the current problems. But luckily, to address these issues, industries are now shifting towards eco-friendly and less toxic plant seed oils, creating a global need for novel sources. In my study, I examined over 50 seed species in Sri Lanka, including rambutan, goraka and kakuna. Through success extraction, many seeds showed oil yields ranging from 20 to 70%. Using gas chromatography mass spectrometry, I identified their fatty acid and unsaponifiable matter composition. One outstanding discovery was corn oil, with over 70% of very long chain fatty acids. But so far no oil was found in the world with such compositions. They give moisturizing and emollient properties. This staggering finding can be a game changer in the cosmetic industry. Additionally, unsaponifiable matter like tocopherol, known as vitamin E, was found in several oils in high levels, including tel kakuna and hora, that can be incorporated in dietary supplements. In conclusion, this prickly pear seed oil is the most expensive oil in the world, priced at 1,000 euros per liter. Surprisingly, its yield is just 8%, while most oils in my study showed over 50% oil yield. Other expensive oils are shea butter, pomegranate and blackcurrant. When comparing with their oil compositions, some oils in my study showed and displayed superior compositions, indicating their potential as substitutes. So ladies and gentlemen, why go for these expensive luxury products when we have better and more at cost advantage substitutes in Sri Lanka? Over to you.
Thank you, Heshani. Next, I invite Madhushi Hansika Madagadara from University of Moratuwa.
Do you remember feeling tired, soreness and cramps just after a little bit extra physical activities? Now, even in the sports world, if you remember, our beloved cricketers won gallantly in the Asia World Cup. But what happened after that? In the next preceding tournament, one by one, our heroes fell down, defeated in the face of muscle injury. Now, why do you think that happened, and who do you think it is the culprit? It is none other than muscle fatigue. This is a physical phenomena that happens when waste accumulates and nutrients build up in the zone of the muscle. And how does active compression help? This is actively massaging the muscle so that you are stimulating the blood flow. So it has been validated through literature as an effective recovery tool. However, the challenge is to see whether this recovery is effective and how much that sore muscle has recovered. Now, imagine that you have a device that you can simply wear like this jacket, which not only massages your muscle but provides you with a window into the recovery journey of your muscles as well. So welcome to the world of my PhD. We are developing textile-based surface EMG sensors that are capable of doing just that. How? Now when we move our muscles, our brain sends a signal, as you can see, which we call EMG, and this signal changes with the recovery status of the muscle. And our sensors not only detects that, but as they are textile based, they are comfortable, they are wearable, and can be easily integrated into the everyday routine. So moving on to our specific developments, we have developed knitted EMG sensors that are capable of acquiring this data, filtering and processing, and they have been validated across a set of voluntary participants, and their performance have been found to be on par with the commercially available rigid and bulky silver chloride electrodes. So it is evident that our EMG sensor system, coupled together with active compression, provides the ultimate solution for our journey of muscle recovery. So to conclude, you're not at just the forefront of recovering from muscular injuries, but welcome to the next generation of sports medicine and physical therapy. Thank you.
Thank you, Hansika Madagadara. Next, I invite Yashoda De Silva from University of Sri Javardhanapura.
Can you see that girl wearing a hat in a paddy field? That's me. Can anyone here guess what I'm doing? I'm very carefully looking at the roots of a rice plant. But why? I'm looking for these round white structures that you see in this picture. They're called galls. Inside them are a form of round worm called Melidogyne graminicola. these worms are feeding off the plant's resources, making them very sick. However, there are two groups of plants. When these tiny worms can make some plants very sick, there are some very rare, unique plants that can fight them off. For our ease, we will call them our superhero rice varieties. So in my work, I wanted to find out if there were these rare superhero rice varieties in our Sri Lankan germplasm and why they were able to fight off these worms when a majority can't. In order to find these superhero rice varieties, I created an artificial battlefield. I grew a large collection of different Sri Lankan rice varieties and I added these worms into their roots. I identified the superheroes by counting the number of galls. As our superhero plants were able to fight off these worms, they produced no galls or very few galls. Whereas the plants that got sick, they produced many galls. But why can only very few rice varieties fight off these worms? The reason is within their genetic makeup. My research involves finding the responsible gene. This process is called gene mining. Think of gene mining like mining for gold, except you're mining the genome looking for special sequences called genes that are found only in our superhero plants but absent in the plants that get sick. Not only was I able to find a very rare candidate gene, I was able to find several rice varieties that turned out to be superheroes from our country. As this is a very rare occurrence, we believe that this gene could have evolved from Sri Lanka. So the next time you have a bowl of rice in front of you, I hope you remember our superheroes and their silent battle underneath the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Yashoda De Silva. Next, I invite Pumudu Fernando from Sabargamo University of Sri Lanka.
Mom, I want to play a game on your phone. I can't go to school. I feel bored. Have you ever heard modern day kids scream like that? Well, that's Generation Alpha for you. Kids born after year 2010, named as Gen Alpha, tend to use digital devices and games since their early childhood. Gen Alphas are currently pursuing their primary education and the conventional teaching techniques may not suitable for them anymore. Each student will have their own unique way of learning, which we call as adaptive learning. Students' learning style detection is crucial for a teacher in adaptive learning, and Felder-Silverman model is the top pick for learning style detection in technology-enhanced learning. Sounds good for Gen Alphas, right? But here's the catch. This model uses a questionnaire with 44 static questions to detect learning style, and some of these questions are too complex for an average primary school kid to even understand. So, will this work for a tech-savvy generation with short attention spans? Not at all. So, our question was, can we use digital games to observe learning styles described in this model? And the answer was yes, but how? For example, this model describes a learner in active dimension, prefers trial and error for learning, and understand things by doing. In contrast, reflective learners first quietly think of the information, analyze the information from different perspectives, and starts learning. So an active learner who plays a maze game may try out different paths using visual clues before reaching to the destination. High active time, attempt count, and visual clue usage. A reflective learner first quietly think of the way out of the maze by analyzing the path before trying. High idle time, less attempt count, and visual clue usage. Following this approach, we have designed a story-based role-playing game with 8 challenges to map all Felder-Silverman learning dimensions. While student plays this game, In-game data is collected such as active and idle time of the player, satisfaction rate, attempt count, and the completion percentage of each activity. A rule-based engine is designed to predict the learning style. So, once this game is implemented, a primary school teacher can ask future students to play the game, observe their learning style, and customize the teaching effectively. We may not be able to detach games or tech devices from Gen Alpha's lifestyle, right? But we can definitely redesign them for the betterment of their education. Thank you.
Thank you, Pumudu Fernando. Next, I invite R.M.M.B. Ratnayaka from University of Moratuwa.
Imagine if you can just charge your mobile phones, laptops within few seconds. Just think if you can accelerate to 100 kilometers per hour using your electric car within just under 5 seconds. Yes, you all will love it. For those type of applications, we need a special component, that is supercapacitor. Supercapacitor is a special device which can store charges more than the normal capacitors. Also, it can discharge at higher rates. So, my research work is based on developing a graphene-based electrode material for supercapacitors. For that, graphene is a best candidate. But when graphene is collaborated with activated carbon, it performs really well. So, here I have defined a method to combine graphene with activated carbon to make this special electrode material. So in the resulting electrode materials, tiny little pores can be seen in everywhere. That means these tiny little pores can store more and more charges. In an exact word, in tiny little 1 gram of this special electrode material, it can store 456 farads. Just imagine. Also, because of these tiny little pores, the charges can move freely. That means the charge storage mechanism is so much efficient. So if we use this material for around 500 charge-discharge cycles, the charge storage capability will not be reduced. Apart from that, overall, this material is very much closer to the ideal supercapacitor electrode materials. So, moving on, overall, this material can be produced with the use of lower amount of resources that is available in Sri Lanka. Also, it is very much cost effective. Apart from all that, the use of locally available graphites makes this research much more interesting. So, hopefully in near future, we will be able to use this super performing electrode material in supercapacitor devices, which will revolutionize our future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ratnayaka. Now I invite our final candidate, Lasuni Godage from Ocean University of Sri Lanka.
If I ask you who the main predators in the ocean are, of course one of your answers would be sharks. Sharks play important roles in keeping our oceans healthy. But unfortunately, 1/3 of these sharks are now becoming less common because of overexploitation and illegal fishing. Around the globe, many different regulations have been created and adopted to protect sharks. For example, some countries don't allow catching certain shark species, and some have forbidden trade of certain shark products, such as their fins. In Sri Lanka also, to manage this problem, Department of Fisheries has taken some actions, including a ban on catching and landing thresher sharks, oceanic white-tip sharks and whale sharks, which are at a risk of extinction. However, fishers always don't comply with these regulations. That's why it is important to understand if fishes are complying these regulations and if not, why. That's exactly what I wanted to explore in my research. To do that, we selected 3 harbours from western and eastern provinces of Sri Lanka that had previously reported for many illegal shark landing cases. Over 4 months of fieldwork, we could conduct 254 interviews with fishers, and I have learned so much. It turned out that almost everyone, it means majority of these fishers, could correctly identify at least one species of ban sharks and why the ban was in place. And majority of them were aware about specific punishments given for landing ban sharks. However, half of these interviewed fishers mentioned still landing of ban sharks happening. And surprisingly, 1/5 of these interviewed fishers mentioned there's no chance of getting caught when landing ban sharks. And they mentioned about corruption and bribes that facilitate these illegal activities. So I have learned that these fishers are aware about these regulations and associated punishments. But still, illegal shark fishing happening. When looking at why, there's a mix of reasons, including money. Fishers felt discarding banned sharks is a waste, and they felt they perceive that there's a low risk in getting caught. Now that we know this information, we can share this with other researchers and policymakers to improve the way how regulations are designed and implemented. Because conservation can only be successful if we consider the needs and perceptions of the most dependent on these resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Lasani Godagi. So now we are approaching to the most nervous time for the finalists of the 3MT thesis competition. So I invite for the audience to make your decisions for the People's Choice Award of the 3MT thesis competition, and also our judging panel will be finalizing their results, and take few minutes and mark your final decision, and our organizing committee will be collecting all the ballot papers in few minutes. Thank you.
Hamdulaj from Team Maverick, and Alexei.
The public winner is Team Maverick.
For a university professor, research excellence is central for career advancement. But also, it enables the researcher to excel by providing research contributions to academia, industry, and the society. That is my success story. When I started as an assistant professor at the University of Calgary, I rose up all the way to a full professor and a Canada Research Chair in Project Management Systems by going through the fundamentals of research excellence to provide contributions to academia, industry, and society. I started my research experience as an undergraduate student in quantity surveying at the University of Moratuwa in early 90s. Then my research career started when I worked as a lecturer in the Department of Building Economics at the University of Moratuwa from 1992 to 1995. I picked a niche area in construction engineering and management to focus on my research: construction productivity improvement and construction automation. It's important to develop a research program by raising research dollars from number of sources, and also to recruit talented graduate students and postdocs into your research program. I was happy that I managed to do both of them by not only raising research dollars from industry and taking those research dollars into government and doubling that research income to support the research program. We work with number of construction contractors and engineering organizations in Canada. The pinnacle of my research success was when the university nominated me for a Canada Research Chair in Project Management Systems in 2007 when I was an associate professor. That enabled me to enlarge and expand my research program and to make it a more broader construction engineering and management research program that included areas such as risk management, simulation and modeling, sustainability, construction automation, and of course, construction productivity improvement. Through my research program, we produced over 30 best practices and tools, what we call the productivity toolbox, including a product like iBooth that we commercialized in 2012 that enabled many of the construction sites in Canada and United States to use them for instant communication and data transfer purposes. We as a research team, my research students, postdoc, and myself published over 200 research and technical articles. The main success behind this research program is the recognition that we receive from a number of sources, including awards, recognitions, and accolades that we received for making an impact to the construction industry in Canada. The research program also produced many graduates, both at the master's and the doctoral level. And some of those graduates are now working as professors and lecturers in many countries, including Canada, Sri Lanka, Germany, and the United States. Of course, the impact is beyond Canada. Through academic contributions, publications worldwide, and also the impact that had extended beyond Canada to other countries.
降りてきたぞ書の神が。だよ、こんな簡単に書きたいもの見つかるなんて。早く帰って書かないと。今なら書けないぞ。
Now we are moving to the most awaited event of 3MT thesis competition. So to announce the winners of the 3MT thesis competition, I cordially invite Dr. Chamire Edisuriya to stage.
Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you, Lakshita. So this is a most awaiting moment, and so if we consider a reality show, this will take more time than the competition itself, right? Since we are researchers and we love concise and precise writing, I will keep it short, right? Okay.
So to present the awards for the winners of the 3MT thesis competition, first I invite Professor Udayangani Kulatunga, Chair of the Research Week 2023.
So first we will award the People's Choice Award. The People's Choice Award goes to Miss Madhushi Hanshika Medagedara. Congratulations. So next we will move into the second runner-up award. The second runner-up award goes to Mr. Pumudu Fernando. Congratulations.
Thank you, Professor Udayangani Kulatunga. Next, to award the prizes for first runner-up and the winner, I invite Professor Ajit D. Alvis, Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies.
The first runner-up award goes to Ms. Sevvandi Dharmakirti Silva. Congratulations. Okay, so next the most important moment. I am not an astrologer, but I could perfectly say that the winner is one of the 80 students, remaining 8. Okay, so the winner of the University of Moratuwa 3MT competition 2023 goes to Madhushi Hanshika Medagedara. Congratulations. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. Congratulations for all the winners. Next, it's our responsibility and to honor our distinguished judging panel. So to present the token of appreciation, which is sponsored by Turu, which is another one of the startups from University of Moratuwa graduate. We are proudly say that. So I invite Dr. Tharusha Ranadeva, representing organizing committee, to present the token of appreciation. First, I call upon Dr. Sachi Gunatilaka to accept our token of appreciation. Next, I invite Dr. Tiloka De Silva. Thank you, Dr. Tharusha. To present our token of appreciation to our other judging panel members, I invite Dr. Chamir Edusurya. I cordially invite Professor Asanka Rodrigo. Next, I invite Dr. Subha Fernando. Next, I invite Dr. Nadi Pires to accept the token of appreciation. Thank you all. And I would like to thank again for our expertise and the judging panel from different disciplines representing University of Moratuwa for giving your decisions on selecting the best out of the best. And also I would like to remind all the finalists, there will be a certificate issued by University of Moratuwa 3MT Thesis Competition Organizing Committee, so you can collect it today. So our next scheduled session will be on academic writing. So before that we will be having 15 minutes short tea break. So tea and the refreshments will be served outside this auditorium, and we will be resuming our session at 4:10 p.m. 4:10. Please be on time.